In this video trade, it's going to explore the idea of, do hedge funds watch things like support and resistance? Stay tuned. Hey traders, a very warm welcome to you. Alright, so here's a question. Do hedge funds watch things or look at things like support and resistance? We know what support and resistance is, lines on charts where we believe price is found a floor or found a ceiling, to simplify. If we don't know what support and resistance is, loads of cool videos out there for you to check out on the channel. Okay, so the question is this. If we are thinking of hedge funds, are they taking support and resistance into account before they're placing a trade or an investment? Now, it's important to kind of distinguish here what we're talking about. I would hazard a guess that hedge funds at the very top end, like your Bridgewater, like any kind of really big fund that's managing a massive amount of money, really doesn't care about this, because unless they've got a sub fund that's very technical and small, which I don't think they have because they've got so much money it wouldn't make any sense, they don't care about this because their holding times are much longer, they're much more interested in different things, which we'll get to in a second, so they don't. But then when we go down to the smaller end of the scale, like people who are still running funds, the couple that I've worked with that are on the lower end of the scale, they're not the Bridgewater scale, they're not very, very low end, but the couple that I've worked with before have taken it into account, because they're not a 100-man team, they're a small team managing a decent amount of money, but a modest amount when you compare it to the big guys, and the people in charge of making those trades may well have a decision making process that is integrated with some kind of technicals, because they can do it, because they're not trying to move 200 million around, they're not trying to move massive amounts of money around, then maybe they're moving 20 million around, 30, 40, 50, that kind of stuff, which is small change compared to the billions up there. So if we look at this process, the way that hedge funds generally operate, now I'm putting HFT to one side and I'm putting kind of a pure technical fund to one side, because there's not very many of those. Most of them will operate on this. They're either event driven, they're kind of a global macro, or they're convertible arbitrage. There's different types, and again I've done a video specifically on that, but their thesis is, okay, we think that we can spot an opportunity somewhere else that nobody else has. And so support and resistance, everybody knows, right? Everyone knows it. Anyone who's been trading for any number of time recognize support and resistance. So for them it's no edge. You know, they might say, okay, well, maybe there's a small edge for short-term trading, but you know, that becomes then into the prop trading realm, which is something different. Lots of traders trading on some kind of strategy, a different scenario. A hedge fund investing capital isn't going to care about support and resistance because they're looking for an edge elsewhere. Maybe they're looking for an edge in some emerging market that someone hasn't seen. Maybe they recognize that this specific currency is going to be devalued more against this because they've got information that retail is going to struggle here and the mining companies, all that, so they make a bet based on that. It may well be stuff like they're trading stocks based on earnings cycles, so they're waiting to see earnings, and then they see earnings kind of maybe changing a little bit of sentiment in the call, and they start to invest in the stock looking for a recovery from that. Now, they don't care about support and resistance there. Now, one caveat to that is that you may well get traders within the fund who are executing that they may take a little bit of stock in terms of, no pun intended, of support and resistance if they are manually executed. So say they've been given an order to buy X number of shares in this company. Now, it's their job to get the best possible price. Now, they may well just put an algo in, or just time slices the order, volume slices the order, and they leave it and they're off, they don't really care. They may well do it manually, and there may well be a trader who's looking at charts like us, who's executing it in batches, and maybe he sees the price at resistance and says, well, I'll just see, I've got another batch to do, I need to do it anyway. Shall I just see if it backs off from this, because I think that we might back off. In which case, then maybe they do. Is it kind of integral, is the word I'm looking for, into their whole system and strategy? No, it's not. They're still going to buy it regardless, but they may well, on a short-term basis, you may well find a trader who's executing, who says, you know what, and this is okay, as I said, as we go down, or up, should I say, this becomes less and less likely. You know, traders don't really care about that. They just care about getting the order done. It's such a big order that it has to be done regardless, and little things like that aren't going to make a difference. But as you come down the scale into the smaller kind of regulated funds, then yes, you can imagine that there's going to be some traders in there, because there won't be loads of traders, there'll be a few, and they may well be sitting there saying, well, actually, you know what, we're going to take this order, but we'll wait because we're hitting resistance, or we're at support now, maybe we should start to scale into the position. They'll still have to take the trade anyway, but it might mean that they adjust the order as they're doing it. Those are my thoughts on it, guys, based on my experience with the guys I've worked with. Like I say, if you work with some of the real big funds out there, I'd be interested to hear your input in the comment section below. I'm pretty sure the answer is completely no, but maybe I'll be surprised. Maybe there's someone sitting in Bridgewater who's squirreling away, plotting support and resistance lines on the chart. Unlikely, but hey, you never know. So those are my thoughts, guys, on do hedge funds watch things like support and resistance? Generally, no, not really. They don't care. They're making the decisions based on other stuff. They want to generate alpha from other bits of data, from other bits of information, rather than stuff that everybody knows already on the chart. Take care, whatever you're doing. Bye-bye.